So we're on page 10 in the booklet and we're having a look at some very simple series. This sentence is an incredibly poorly worded sentence, and you can probably just skip it and go through the previous video where I've introduced series. In general, though, like we pointed out in the previous one, the summation of all the terms of a sequence is called a series. And a reminder that Sn is T1 plus T2 plus T3, all the terms in between up to Tn. Have a look at the pattern here. We can see that the sum, that S1 is just the sum of the first term. S2 is the sum of the first term and the second term. S3 is the first term, the second term, and the third term. Well, that much is obvious, I suppose. But if we know, for example, S3 and S2, and a reminder that S3 is the sum of the first three terms of a sequence, and S2 is the sum of the first two terms, we can work out what the third term is. Because do you see over here that T1 and T2, that is actually S2, isn't it? So we could rewrite this line here as sum of the first three terms is the sum of the first two terms plus the third term. And so we can, if we know S3 and S2, then we can rearrange it to be S3 minus S2 equals our third term. So in general, if we know Sn and Sn plus 1, we can find the value of Tn plus 1 because Sn plus 1 is the sum of the first n terms plus the nth plus 1 term, and we can rearrange to solve for that. You might like to use that piece of information when you are answering, like exercise 10B question 2. That might be helpful.